Hello there. Lovely. I'm the sort of icing on the evening, really. Thank you. Yeah, I tell children I'm the Jeremy Corbyn of children's poetry. Yeah, that's right. Actually, talking of poetry and Jeremy Corbyn, it was really lovely to see him at Glastonbury doing a poem by none other than Percy Bysshe Shelley. Yes, absolutely. Rise like lions and ye are many, they are few. It was wonderful, and it reminded me, you know, maybe he'll start taking up doing some more poems. There is a little film online of him doing it's a book by, I've forgotten who it's by. It's called We're Going on a Bear Hunt, and there's a little film of it, and he's actually better at it than me, the bastard. It's really annoying, actually, but anyway, it did make me think, though, when doing Shelley, that he's kind of missed a trick, really, because there was Shelley's mate, Byron, and he was a bit of a poet as well. And you may know that the Mask of Anarchy that he was quoting from, it begins with an image of the foreign minister at the time, a bloke called Castlereagh, who was universally loathed by the left, the Liberals, any Democrats around, utterly loathed. And when he died, of course, the ruling class wanted to mourn the death of this great man, Viscount Castlereagh, but Byron had other ideas. And he wrote a little poem, and maybe Jeremy will go around doing that one as well. It goes a bit like this, I think. Posterity will ne'er survey a nobler grave than this. Here lie the bones of Castlereagh. Stop, traveller, and piss. It's terrible, really, terrible. Such disrespect, you know, when people die, you know, there's no sense of I don't know, what is it? Politesse, really, is there? It's very awful. So I was going to read you just a few things tonight. We can see that the right is in many ways trying to reorganise. They transform themselves. Someone as old as me will remember that, you know, there was something once called the League of Empire Loyalists, and they turned themselves into various other things. We had the British National Party, we had the National Front, we've had various and then suddenly now we've got the EDL, and we've got the Football Lads Alliance, all these various ways of transmogrifying themselves. In 2011, the EDL had the idea of marching through the East End, in the very place where my parents had actually, now I think about it, their first date at Cable Street. As you do, you know, where do you have a first date? Obviously at the Battle of Cable Street. Well, you did if they were them. And I was asked to go down there. We were effectively going to try and do exactly what had happened on October the 4th, 1936, which was to stop the EDL marching. And I read this. It's called They Shall Not Pass, and there'll be moments where you can join in. You'll like that, won't you? In fact, well, let's begin. What is it? They shall not pass. Exactly. You, Connie Ruby Isakovsky from Globe Road in Bethnal Green. You, Harold Rosen from Nelson Street, Whitechapel. You, Connie, with your mother and father from Romania and Poland. You, Harold, with your family from Poland. You, Connie, you, Harold, your family's working in the schmutter trade. Hats, caps, jackets and gowns. Hats, caps, jackets and gowns. You both saw Hitler on the Pathé News. You both saw Hitler blaming the Jews. You both collecting for Spain when Franco came. When round the tenements the whisper came, Mosley wants to march here through the East End. So what should it be? To Trafalgar Square to support Spain? No, Passaran. Or to Gardener's Corner to support Whitechapel? They shall not pass. Round the tenements the whisper came, fight here in Whitechapel the whisper came, winning here we support Spain there. These are the streets where we live. These are the streets where we go to school. These are the streets where we work. They shall not pass. You, Connie, you, Harold, went to Gardener's Corner. You went to Cable Street. You piled chairs on the barricades. The mounted police charged you. A stranger took you indoors so you could escape a beating. And thousands, hundreds of thousands came here, fighting Mosley, supporting Spain, thinking of Nazi Germany. And Mosley did not pass. You, Connie, you, Harold, said today the bombs on Guernica in Spain, tomorrow the bombs on London here, and you were bombed. The same planes, the same bombs, landing in the same streets where you had said, they shall not pass. And the bodies piled up across the world, Million after million after million. You, Connie, your cousins in Poland, taken to camps, wiped out. You, Harold, your uncles and aunts in France and Poland, taken to camps, wiped out. But you, Connie, my mother, you, Harold, my father, you survived. You lived. You were born, we grew. Your mother, your father, you father, you told us these things. And I write these things. And today I tell you these things. We remember here together, thanks to you, and we say, thank you very much. Thank you. And with the right of the fascist movements active all across Europe, at one point it did look as if Marine Le Pen was going to be successful. She seems to have been pushed back a bit, and at the moment when she looked like she was going to be successful, I wrote her a poem. Normally poems are tributes when you write to people, but this was kind of the opposite. I'll read it to you in French first and then in English. La raison pourquoi on a donné une étoile jaune à l'oncle et la tante de mon père. La raison pourquoi on a demandé qu'il devait attacher une affiche disante entreprise juive à leur étal de marché. La raison pourquoi ils ont fui leur asile dans la rue Mélèze à Niort. La raison pourquoi ils se sont réfugiés à Nice. La raison pourquoi on les a arrêtés et on les a transportés à Paris, à Drancy, à Auschwitz et à leur mort. Et parce que les officiers de Vichy ont fait un fichier juif des juifs étrangers et l'a donné aux nazis au moment exact que la résistance a dit bienvenue aux juifs, bienvenue aux étrangers. Et c'est ça la raison pourquoi je vous dis ces choses, Madame Le Pen. And in English that comes out as the reason why they gave a yellow star to my father's uncle and aunt. The reason why they told them they had to fix a sign saying Jewish business on their market stall. The reason why they fled from their refuge in the rue Mélèze in Niort. The reason why they took refuge in Nice. The reason why they were arrested and transported to Paris, to Drancy, to Auschwitz, and to their death is because the officials of Vichy made a Jewish file of foreign Jews and gave it to the Nazis at the exact moment that the resistance was welcoming Jews and was welcoming foreigners. And that's the reason why I'm telling you these things, Madame Le Pen. Thank you. I sometimes fear that people might think that fascism arrives in fancy dress, worn by grotesques and monsters, as played out in endless reruns of the Nazis. But fascism arrives as your friend. It will restore your honor, make you feel proud, protect your house, give you a job, clean up the neighborhood, remind you of how great you once were. Clear out the venal and the corrupt. Remove anything you feel is unlike you. It doesn't walk in saying, our program means militias, mass imprisonments, transportations, war and persecution. They don't say that. Thank you. I wrote a poem for the NHS. It's kind of a hard thing to do. Somebody says to you, write a poem for the NHS, and you think, the NHS, it's big, it's huge, it's lovely. I was born actually just before it. I was born in 1946, but I was always made to feel from my parents that somehow or other this was one of the achievements of people like them. They'd helped create the NHS. My parents also fought for equal pay. They fought for it in the NUT, the National Union of Teachers, and it was finally awarded, but they couldn't award it straight away. They awarded it in increments of seven increments over 7 years. So imagine the picture, me, my brother, my mum and dad were sitting around the tea table, and a letter arrives, and my mum rips it open. It's addressed to her, and she opens it, and she says, "Look at this." This is 3 years into the increments. "Look at this, boys. I'm 3/7 of your father." She also fought the Battle of Stalingrad on the kitchen table. My dad would sort of stomp off to the front room to read another bloody book, and Mum would then plot the Battle of Stalingrad and made very, very clear to us, with the milk bottle, you know, that served as Zhukov, and she had a way of making it clear that somehow or other we only existed because this was the crunch moment in their lives, that if it had gone the other way, that Hitler would have swept back across Europe and almost certainly invaded Britain, and they would have been finished. And so, you know, it was slightly different from school. We weren't told that sort of thing at school. Anyway, this is in part for my parents, the NHS. These are the hands that touch us first, feel your head, find your pulse, and make your bed. These are the hands that tap your back, test the skin, hold your arm, wheel the bin. These are the hands that change the bulb, fix the drip, pour the jug, replace your hip. These are the hands that fill the bath, mop the floor, flick the switch, soothe the sore. These are the hands that burn the swabs, give us a jab, throw out sharps, design the lab. And these are the hands that stop the leaks, empty the pan, wipe the pipes, carry the can. And these are the hands that clamp the veins, make the cast, log the dose, and touch us last. Thank you. I do a lot of work around schools and education, and I thought I probably needed to write a guide, just something to kind of explain it, partly to myself, but also to anybody who's trying to figure out what's going on in school. So this is called Guide to Education. You get education in schools. To find out how much education you get, the government gives you tests. Before you do the tests, the government likes it if you're put on different tables that shows you how well or badly you're going to do in the tests. The tests test whether they've put you on the right table. The tests also test whether you know what you're supposed to know. But don't try to get to know any old stuff like what is earwax or how to make soup. The way to know things you're supposed to know is to do pretend tests. When you do the pretend tests, you learn how to think in the way that tests want you to think. The more practice you do, the more likely it is that you won't make the mistake of thinking in any other way other than in the special test way of thinking. Here's an example. The apples are growing on the tree. What is growing on the tree? If you say leaves, you're wrong. It's no use you thinking that when apples are on a tree, there are usually leaves on the tree too. There is only one answer, and that is apples. All other answers are wrong. If you're the kind of person that thinks leaves is a good answer, doing lots and lots and lots of practice tests will get you to stop thinking that leaves is a good answer. Doing many, many practice tests will also make it very likely that there won't be time for you to go out and have a look at an apple tree to see what else grows on apple trees, like ants or mistletoe. Education is getting much better these days because there's much more testing. Remember, it's apples, not leaves. And as a follow-up to that one, I wrote one called The Data Have Landed. First they said they needed data about the children to find out what they're learning. Then they said they needed data about the children to make sure they're learning. Then the children only learnt what could be turned into data. Then the children became data. Thank you. I find it must happen to all of us really, is we kind of get assailed by people. They're doing surveys. Always you have to fill in something after you've been somewhere. You've been to the loo and they say, did you have a good pee? Will you fill in this form? You know, it was someone telling me that they've just bought something on Amazon. All right, don't boo, but anyway, they bought something on Amazon and then it said, what was the shopping experience like for you? What? Well, I pressed a bloody button. That's what I did. I went like that, and then I pressed another one, and that was the shopping experience. It's weird, isn't it? First of all, they had shops, and then they got a bit worried about the internet and all the rest of it, so they created these shopping malls where you go in there and they have, I don't know, Christmas trees all the year round and some bloody dragon that wobbles for the kids to go on, and they go, how was the shopping experience for you? Then the internet, Amazon get nervous, so they want to have shopping experiences as well, but all you're doing is going, and then they ask you. And you're sitting there going, I don't bloody... Anyway, that was a shopping experience. Anyway, here's another one. I don't know whether this has happened to you. I was at Euston Station, and an elderly woman came up to me and started talking to me. She asked me if she could ask me some questions. She showed me a picture of herself in a polythene see-through bag. I didn't look very closely at it, but I thought I saw the word marketing. My train was delayed, so I said, okay. She said that it was to improve the service. I said, okay, and she rummaged around in her bag and took out a clipboard. On the clipboard, there was a list of questions. She said, are you travelling today? Yes, I said. Are you travelling for business, leisure, or family reasons? I said, family reasons. She said, do you ride a horse? I said, no. She said, when a piece of bread is smaller than the slot in the toaster, then assuming you turn off the toaster for health and safety reasons, do you A, stick a knife in the bread and hook it out, B, pick up the toaster, turn it over and shake it out, C, leave it in there? I said, B, I turn the toaster over. She said, do you travel first class or second class? I said, usually second class, but at the weekends I might upgrade. She said, do you think the world political situation would be improved if A, the Roman Empire came back, B, people stopped eating processed meat, C, politicians drank more water? I said, I don't think any of those. Can I say none? She said, I'm the one asking the questions. I said, I know. She said, I'll take that as A. I said, the Roman Empire one? She said, yes. I said, but the Romans didn't have trains. She said, if they did, they would have made them run on time. I said, except towards the end, you know, when they were leaving here and going back to Rome, the trains wouldn't have been on time then. She said, I've made a note of that. I said, thanks. She said, on a scale of 10, do you think the following would improve the service? Give customers flat-pack self-assembly furniture to construct on their journeys, 10 for definitely, 0 for not at all. 9, I said. On a scale of 10, do you think customers should be supplied with the magazine Dairy Cow News? I said 9. She said, why? I said, because, you know, when I was about 10 years old, I actually developed a fascination with dairy cows. I know, yeah, it's strange, I know, but I could tell the difference between a dairy shorthorn and an Ayrshire. I think having a free copy of Dairy Cow News would be of great interest. She said, the survey is complete. We give all the people we interview a small gift. You have a choice. Would you like a pen, a notebook, a tomato, a holiday in Florida, or a baby? I said, I'll take the tomato, thanks. I was visiting a school in Walthamstow, and at the end, one of the teachers said, this guy will take you to the station, you see. And we got into the car, and this is what happened. He said, I can't stand it anymore. I can't stand it anymore, it's doing me head in. This place used to be like a village. Oh, what's the matter with it? I said. Well, it's full of foreigners, he said. It's full of foreigners. I love Walthamstow, he said, I really do, but I can't stay here, I'm going. I wondered where. But I said nothing. He didn't say anything else, so I said, where to? Spain, he said. So let's finish on a bit of an up, and here we go. The bus goes on, and it's full, and it's leaving, and it's laughing, and it's going on, and it's morning, and it's evening, and it's in Punjabi, and it's daytime, and it's full, and it stops, and it's suspicious, and it starts, and it's in Igbo, and it's shouting, and it's shopping, and it's rapping, and it's lit up, and it's dark, and it's shove up, will ya? And it's crying, and it's squealing, and it's in Dutch, and it's breaking, and it's in Geordie, and it's at the station, and it's skint, and it's full of babies, and it's full of men, and it's going on, and it's past the Vietnamese cafe, and it's past the tyre depot, and it's past the silver car, and its chauffeur, and it's waiting for Sinatra to start up, and it's in patois, and it's chips and vinegar, and it's past the park, and it's full of football, and it's a bellyache, and it's full of jokes, and it's scared, and it's in Arabic, and it's back from school, and it's pushing, and it's raining, and it's, whew, blimey, right armpits, man, and it's tranks, and it's angry, and it's full of yesterday, and it's riding under the lights, and it's the smell of oil, and it's pissed, and it's combing, and it's kissing, and it's packets of rice, and it's cassava, and it's over the canal, and it's the baby's bottle, and it's over the railway, and it's under the cranes, and it's in the shadows of the palaces in glass, and it's in Albanian, and it's bleach, and it's the homework in late, and it's spuds, and it's the hijab, and it's shoulders next to backs, next to fronts, and it's revving, and it's too late, and it's too early, and it's not enough, and it's going on, and it's on time, and it's dreaming, and it will get there today, and it will get there tomorrow. Yes, thank you. Thanks very much.